Let it go. I know your past. I understand its meaning. I don't want to hurt you. I just want to win. You don't have to put everything together. See reality as it is. That is, samsara. Yes, Miss Ellen. Time to face reality. The winner had been decided. An unorthodox armor was reflected in Hare's eyes, a type of power that belonged to the future. To understand and materialize, the Hirsch of reason used to utilize this authority frequently, but it could not achieve the complexity before her eyes. Just like the Pasolini, this wasn't a power that could be fully understood by the user alone. But this time, the girl was not overwhelmed. She felt joy. What kind of power could rival all lives recorded along the land you had traveled? Metamorphosis. She knew the answer, but it was the first time she had witnessed it herself. She felt that her past regretful self had gotten the answer now. Not only can humans change stigma, they can even change Herschers. And this brand new power naturally represented another thing. I will retain their past, even if it will cause them to lose their future. This was an answer that someone had given before. I want to give them a future, even if they will not have a past to remember. This was an answer that someone had given before. I want them to broaden their future, even if it means sacrificing my present. This was an answer that someone had given before. But these answers that chose the lesser of two evils were not the ones that gave Bronya help just now. They came from a past that was interpreted after death and cannot win against the present. If a person can't accept losing something, then he cannot really possess the ability to protect that something. This was something Bronya had once said. In that instant, she recalled Joyce's final goal, and also Joachim's starting point. This finally made her realize that legacy was something that validated an existence through disappearance. The past is but a storage in the end, a mirror. Only the future can win against the present. The 300,000 thoughts that belong to the Herrscher of Reason were only remnants of history. They could not resolve all unknown problems. When we expand time and space, this logic was incredibly obvious. Willing isolationists could not understand the changes of the Industrial Revolution. Brave Zulu warriors also could not win against the merciless fire of machine guns. When civilization stalls at a certain point in time, it will lose its ability to win against the future. And to the Herrscher of Reason, if those 300,000 thoughts were not consumed, if the metamorphosis was not complete, this authority could not be a power that can fight against Project Stigma and God's Atom. In the swaying grass, a senior she greatly admired, the beginning of this legacy appeared before the girl's eyes. In the past, it was an existence that she and Joachim knew they could not catch up to, but still insisted on getting close to. Now, they finally fought side by side. But as though 300,000 thoughts were consumed by the metamorphosized core, this was also the last image of that other had left in the world. I'm sorry, to achieve tomorrow, Bronya has subversed the past. But Bronya does not have any regrets as the Herrscher of Reason. After all, the only inevitable truth about humanity is that humanity's truth will change inevitably. As usual, the other party remained silent, but this time, he smiled far more than he did in the past. Goodbye, well Joyce. Bronya is very honored to be able to carry your legacy. The Herrscher of Reason has never been a simple part of history. Starting as one of the 300,000, everything about it is reborn in the present. Victorious over all from the past. Bronya! The winner has been decided, don't worry. Having responded to her comrade's concerns, Bronya looked towards Hare again. The defeated was exhausted, but not discouraged. Did you do this deliberately? Oh, what do you mean? Bronya did not answer her immediately, but felt her own Herrscher core. Compared to her companions, this metamorphosis of hers was so successful that it seemed miraculous. One must crawl through the darkness before being born, just like the foolproof strategy that Branya had thought before the battle. You also completed your objective, right? Oh, you still remember what I said whimsically. It sticks well, doesn't it? Branya was simply giving an example, like the meaning behind this phrase. Even though you're an enemy, you've been giving Branya the right guidance, deliberately or not. And it built up to our present situation. Don't flatter yourself. Build a situation where I lose painfully? I'm not who I am from more than a decade ago. I don't have such weird interests. Oh, right. Do you not know about this yet? I'm the second generation heir created by Project Sigma. Strictly speaking, I'm not the pitiful and detestable existence that you saw in your memories. But speaking of which, I'm actually a little curious. How did humans manage to do something similar? Do you mean condensing the Herrscher of Reason's core again? You've long received acknowledgement from those 300,000 thoughts. It's not strange for you to be able to do that. What I really mean is, you did not erase any of the remaining fragments of consciousness left in the core. That's not the authority of Herrscher of Reason. You did not go so far as to achieve this either. Did you remember all 300,000 thoughts with your own will instead of through the core? Or the Herrscher of Reason's core sensed your will and automatically did it for you? From Branya's own experience, I'm afraid the latter is closer to the truth. Frankly speaking, Branya did not consider so much back then. If the Herrscher's core has a specific capacity, then to carry the ever-increasing past towards the future, Branya can only make herself into another core. As for what happened after, I merely went with the flow as the Herrscher of Reason. Branya felt that they've taken another form to become part of Branya, and following Branya's change, they will adapt to the future as well. Huh, is this what we call hindsight? You don't have to be humble. From what I know, your metamorphosis is far more successful than other Herrschers. 300,000 thoughts. Even if there was no active will, that's enough to break down any human brain, much less changing their form of existence. But that's you, Branya. Thank you for letting me witness what it means to be the Herrscher of Reason. Although this victory may seem like a coincidence, you're an indispensable part of it, and made it absolute. Alright, just as I said before, if you see this as a stage clear game, all you have definitely cleared my stage. Let me make it clear, I don't have the power to reverse Project Sigma, neither does my sire. But at this point, I'm too ashamed to stop you anymore. Ask Fuhua for everything else that happened after. Branya Zaitchik, you've grown beyond all expectations, including her. Oh, Branya, what was that just now? Is there something wrong? I'm afraid there are a lot of things wrong. Yeah, I can't understand what happened between the two of you at all. But Branya is the complete Herrscher of Reason now, right? The girl took a quick look at herself, but didn't see anything special. Yeah. Thinking back to the previous time a similar situation occurred, she subconsciously looked to her side. After recondensing her Herrscher core, she created a new mechanical body for her comrade. Project Bunny floated silently. It was incredibly different from the past, yet it also seemed like nothing changed. Change is the only constant. That was also the key to her victory just now. Alright, let's help. Bronya! Sila! I'm so glad you're safe! Thank you, but how did you... Of course, I was the one who caught her over. You all made such a big fuss, but excluded me from the fun. Oh, Santi, there's no time for jokes now. We still have plenty to do next. Fu Hua. Great, you're finally awake. Long time no see, Kiana, May, Branya, and Sila. It's been a while, Fu Hua. Wait, what about me? You've given us a great deal of help. I'll be sure to thank you personally later. You. Regardless, everyone who reunited recomposed themselves and exchanged their individual circumstances. I see. Perfect. It's time for me to report my situation too. Firstly, as you all can see, Kevin has left the moon. Since he did not encounter any trouble, he left to execute the next step of the project. Of course, from her perspective, we're the ones who decide if we'll be his enemy. Next step of the project? Isn't it obvious? Kevin can care less about this place. He stayed temporarily only to flaunt his capabilities to us. He isn't someone who dawdles. Do you know him more than I do? He didn't want to bother with a fruitless argument, so she turned to Fu Hua. In a short moment of eye contact, they ascertained something that was read between the lines. I think that Kevin wanted to find something from all of you. To do this, he continuously obstructed you to test your wills and abilities to battle. He put in a lot of effort, but went easy on us. He even told the herd of sentients how to return to the moon on her own accord. What? Huh, isn't he looking down on us? Though I'm not exactly a team with you guys. I knew I couldn't win against him then and pretended to surrender. That guy probably wanted to present himself as a magnanimous and told me a few things regarding the moon in detail. Like the influence of Project Awaken on the space, trapping Hershers in Bubble Universe, and how everyone can use that black hole? You mean wormhole? Yes, the place that you guys fought at earlier. It was used to be a stargate by the moth between the Earth and the Moon, but unfortunately it was destroyed before finality descended that day. But that popsicle did leave some words behind, something like, if you use the Herrscher of Reason's power at its full potential, a mere moon cannot imprison Herschers. What? Look at you. Are you going to try something he said? If we dare not try, then the World Serpent will truly step all over us. Bronya, you're not pushing yourself, are you? Hearing about a task to open a path again after Holoston instinctively struck the fear in Sila's heart. Don't worry, Sila. The present Bronya is much stronger than all the past Herrscher of Reason. Einstein space bridge. Perception confirmed. Gravitational anomalies were detected, initiating injection of strange matter. 3, 2, 1. Stargate core repair complete. Ready to launch. Well done, Bronya. That's crazy. That's magic. Bronya, you really aren't pushing yourself this time. Bronya keeps her word. I'm speechless. This is actually my first time seeing it working properly. Mobius and Atto were in charge of building this. Yeah. But what about the people in New Atra? The wreckage of finality can be repaired. The girl hesitated. She was worried about Lyle and Sora, but... We should trust Klein, and given the state Earth is in, it'd be safer for Sora and her friends to stay on the moon. I think she's a robot made by World Serpent, but she's good at everything. That means she found it. True, I got to know Klein as a person in World Serpent. You can trust her. Now then, let's go fight on Earth. Is anyone ready to take back your future from Kevin and Finality? Yes. I see. Hatching. Is that what you're really after? You're beginning to understand me, aren't you? The fact that you did not force Bronya to watch The Last Memory proves that you are no longer the same existence as that Jinx crystal. Her past experiences, pain, and envy, those are like someone else's emotions now. You can no longer fully empathize. In fact, even your disappointment in the Hirsch of Reason is merely a pretense. But it is because you didn't have enough motivation that you ironically give it all during your fight. Don't put it that way. You make me sound like a weirdo. You're really not intending to tell her that part of the story? Regardless, she's involved in it. She has the right to know the truth. When all has become history, when all conflicts have ended, if I have the chance, I'll tell her. But I absolutely cannot do so before she starts a fight. Dr. May phrased it well. The nature of humanity is to sacrifice oneself for something else. If the reason she picked a fight with me isn't related to the Herscher's authority, but for more personal feelings, then she would not have found an absolute strategy. She can only borrow her companion's powers to defeat me. In the end, you're still so prideful. That's something only a human would think of. The program you're made of is getting better. For some reason, her tone was cheerful yet concerned. Because of that, Prometheus held herself back. Back on track. From the very beginning, you already wanted to make sure that she would be the final victor. What? Is it weird? After all, I need to give my past self a clear answer. The curse that she left behind has finally turned into a gift now. Isn't that great? I do understand a little now how you past self could keep peace with that Kevin. Venice is no more. The best Greek islands have drowned in acceleration. But it's the having, not the keeping, that is the treasure. The difference between having and keeping. Wait, so you... Then she suddenly realized that Hare's blatant interest in hedging seemed to refer to something else. Yes, regardless of anything, I have nothing to do with Project Stigma now. Be it to the Hershers who fight for humanity, or to Kevin, or even to a particular Grey Serpent, we're more suited to be mere witnesses, no? At the same time, that long and dim blue light was calling out another person on his way back. Now, as Project Sigma advanced, the Earth has not only evolved into an unrecognizable form, but had also been continuously fusing itself with fiction. In that home that once belonged to humans, the disciples of the serpent are relentless, taking all nutrients in sight and infusing them into this foreign star. All things restore to unity. This is the definition of embrace. But among those disciples, some who had once announced the imminent appearance of spiritual Adam were missing. And the one with the serial number 1904 had just received a small favor. Satisfied, he gazed at his hometown from the moon. Caring for children is much more interesting than fighting. He had said something similar before, but spoken again now, it had a different meaning. Or rather, a new revelation. Of course, through Project Stigma, you can use others for your own cause. But if you want the kindling to illuminate the entire planet, then you'll have to do more than that, sire.